This is so stressful. I know what's coming. If you made a mistake, people are definitely gonna let you know.
Oh my.
Chefs, if you enjoy. This is not a dinner party to me. This is an exam. Chef, today I made a play on patatas bravas with confit crispy potatoes, garlic and lemon aioli on bottom, some sliced in octopus, radish, a little bit of manchego, and then bartuga. I think I missed the Italian a little bit here, but this is where my brain went. So lots of components, lots of different flavors, very much a Andy dish here.
Christopher, what do you think of Andy's dish?
Well, I really like his play on the patatas bravas here. Those potatoes are nice and crispy. I really like that combination of that garlic aioli with that beautiful paprika and tomato sauce. The cook time on the octopus could be a little bit longer. I did find it a little bit chewy, and the radicchio garnish as well added a bitterness, but not enough freshness to the dish, and this dish is very rich.
Yeah.
I do agree with Chris that my octopus was a little bit tough. I loved all the textures and how they combined together, but not the octopus. And he did take a little detour away from Italy.
I think I probably would have added just a little bit more citrus because it is kind of heavy, and I like things a bit salty, so maybe just a tiny bit more salt.
Yeah,
but other than that, I think it's great. It's tasty.
Thank you.
Patatas bravas, obviously not Italian, but for me, I would have liked one of the octopus tentacles whole so that it presented it nicely, and then you know that that's the star as opposed to like a garnish. Otherwise, not bad.
Sure, there was a couple missteps, but I think that this dish represents who I am.
What I'm getting from this dish, for me, is your attitude. I think the dish is very bold. There's a little rebel inside of this dish. I wish that it would have had a little more refinement. I think you should have cut the potatoes differently. The octopus should have been one whole tentacle coming off, grilled and charred.
Andy, I like the dish a lot. It's got great flavor. The octopus, I agree, if they were cut a little bigger, a greater presence to it, and maybe just a touch more botarga.
Yeah.
But a nice, flavorful, well-rounded dish.
I'm not bothered at all by the detour. I think as long as it's a very tasty dish, I don't care where it comes from. But overall, you know, I like the dish because I think it complements May's dish, because her dish was more delicate and your dish was more rustic. They're very different in texture, but this is what a tasting menu means, complementing each other.
Perfect. Thank you, Chef.
Thea, you're up next for the fourth course.
Oh my gosh, I am so nervous about them trying my dish because of time and just everything that happened today. I was just lucky to get something on the plate. I feel so bad. Sorry, guys.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I am super nervous. So today I have a ravioli dopi, 2 raviolis together. One side has nudilla sausage with some braised skirt steak, and the other side has lemon ricotta. And then it was supposed to be with a reduction that got burnt, so I just did a quick beef reduction with that.
May, tell us your thoughts on Thea's dish.
It was a small bite, but I enjoyed it. The spiciness of the nduja was really nicely countered by the lemon ricotta, and the broth that's currently in here, I got a deep, rich beef flavor.
The presentation I actually really liked. I thought it was really beautiful. The ricotta was lovely. I found the sausage a little bit overpowering and a little bit salty for me.
There's some valid points, but I also feel like there's some not so valid points.
Christopher, how do you feel about having another pasta at this point of the menu?
I think our menu could have been planned a little bit better. We have had a lot of starchy courses coming up to this point.
May, in retrospect, do you wish that you'd been a little more flexible, maybe?
I think neither of us really wanted to relent. We just had that idea in our head. A protein really should have been a 4th course for sure.
From the total menu planning standpoint, I feel like we let down what our original concept was. However, I think the fact that there's even a dish in front of us is a testament to her strength as a cook and her never give up attitude, and that's incredibly admirable. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I have to agree with Andrew. I think the dish itself is really strong. The pasta is perfectly rolled out. The broth, I think it's rich and intense, maybe a bit too salty, but overall, there's nothing wrong with this dish.
Thank you.
Thea, you know, I really like the dish. And I'm not overcompensating because what happened. I think that in terms of presentation for a tasting menu, it's probably the most appropriate. It's pretty, it's simple, and it gets to the point. The fill, unfortunately, let you down a bit. I would not have picked skirt steak because it's very tough, it's very dry.
I tell you, it's a nice little dish. I think you could have had a little bit more of that braised beef in the bottom of that broth.
Yeah.
It came down to time and the challenges that you faced today.
Thank you.
Christopher, I believe you're responsible for our final course.
This is incredibly stressful, getting judged by my fellow cooks and 3 extremely distinguished judges. It's less of a dinner party and more like a slaughterhouse. Today's dessert is a truffle vanilla bean ice cream. Underneath is a bit of a pistachio powder. You have the chocolate mini pastry, which is filled with a chocolate mousse and a liquid caramel center, and dipped in a hazelnut chocolate coating. And then finally on the base, you have a lemon calamansi gel for some acidity.
I love truffles and adding savory into a dessert, but like truffle ice cream and chocolate bar are things you wouldn't usually put together.
Whoa. You're a very strange man.
I've never tasted anything like that in my life.
Andy, what do you think?
I think my brain's trying to catch up to what I just ate. The truffle ice cream, when I first ate it, I didn't think I liked it, and then I started really liking it the more that I ate. It's so fun.
None of the flavors really worked for me. I really enjoyed the chocolate mousse and the caramel, but then you go over to the truffle ice cream and it's just punching you in the face with truffle. And then I get the acidity from the calamansi. I don't know, it kind of doesn't make sense to me right now.
It was really rich and delicious. I am in agreement with May, though it feels kind of like 2 different things on a plate. And when you eat them all together, it's a little confusing, but I can check off the list that I've had truffle ice cream.
I feel like I want to spend a minute in Christopher's brain. I think he's a mad scientist in the best way. The truffle is extremely interesting, which is something you wouldn't expect in a dessert. It was creamy, the texture was amazing in the ice cream.
If I had known that it was my fellow cooks who would be doing the tasting, I would have dumbed down the flavors a little bit and made it a little bit more comforting, not so polarizing for my fellow cooks.
Christopher, I gotta tell you, when I tried the truffle ice cream, it just sucker punched me. And I loved it. I thought that it was bold. It reminded me a lot of the way I cook. I want my food to stand out. I think you did the same thing. Your food really pops.
I think if you'd taken the truffle, infused it into the chocolate, where they two would work together so much more in a subtle way, and then have the ice cream as a foil to round things out, heaven.
Chefs sometimes have to challenge people. If you're confident, then stick with it. You gotta have that strength there. I don't think you should change it at all.
Thank you, Chef.
It's time to move to the final stage. Voting.
At your stations, you will find a ballot. You must rank the courses from best to worst. Now, please go to your stations.
I don't know about everybody else and how they're voting, but I'm voting based on the food and exactly what I think.
There's a lot at play here. We are down to the final 5. Christopher's dish was polarizing. He is so unbelievably talented, and if I have any shot of sneaking my way into the finale, I need to get Chris out of here today.
Top 5. We have the results of your voting, and they are very interesting.
4 of you earned first place votes from at least one of your competitors. And 4 different cooks were ranked last on at least one ballot. So there was definitely not a consensus.
The results might reflect a range of factors: taste, presentation, technique, and strategy. We gave you the power, and you decided how to use it. The cook that you chose as the best of the night is... May.
Oh my God. Thank you, guys.
It means so much to be voted as the best dish of the night because this is coming from my fellow competitors. It means they ate and liked my dish. I was not expecting that.
Congratulations, May. You'll be getting a big advantage in next week's challenge.
Thank you very much.
The next 2 places, according to your ballots, go to Andrew in 2nd, and in 3rd place, thea.
Well done.
Thank you.
Work, guys.
I'm pretty excited that I placed 2nd because I had the salad course, which may be considered the hardest.
I feel really good about being 3rd, but if I was able to do the dish exactly how I wanted it to, I probably would have taken that #1 spot.
That means the dish voted worst belongs to either Andy or Christopher. Can the 2 of you please stand forward?
Andy, Do you think that you and Christopher deserve to be in the bottom? Or is this the result of some strategic voting?
I know, I certainly voted using strategy.
Christopher, what do you think?
No, I voted truthfully. I think the taste of my dessert was probably a little too adventurous for my other cooks.
Tonight, we are only the messengers. The last place dish belongs to... Christopher.
Indy, you can join the others.
Christopher, I can't speak for your competitors or the choices that they've made, but you know you created a dessert that, while excellent, was challenging to some of your diners.
Regardless of the reason for their choice, you will not be going home today.
At this stage of the competition, the only people with the power to send someone home are the three of us. However, you will have a disadvantage in next week's challenge.
So, Christopher, you live to cook another day.
Thanks, Chef.
Take full advantage of this opportunity.
Absolutely.
Now go get some rest. You're gonna need it.